Good afternoon, everyone. We were doing the topic of parliament. Chalo, theek hai, no questions as of now. Now, in terms of parliament, we had seen that Rajya Sabha is what we had started. In that, we had seen that Rajya Sabha has certain numbers. I told you, you will look at 245 and 250. I was very specific with these numbers. Okay? And you know it whenever I'm specific, या कुछ मैं बोलता हूँ, you have to look at it. It means there is something very important and you'll have to mug it up. But at the same time, I told you, be careful when you look it from the data side of view, from the state side of view, कि state has how many numbers and UT has how many numbers. ठीक है, UT means state has how many seats in Rajya Sabha and UT has how many seats. Because the numbers of seats of state reduced because J&K became a UT. So UT seats increased in Rajya Sabha. Like now, now see, Rajya Sabha is a debating chamber. Rajya Sabha tries to basically better the bills of Lok Sabha. Now, why do I say that? That Rajya Sabha is bettering or it's better, they'll better the bill of Lok Sabha? Because this may not be the reality as such always, but try to understand one thing. Lok Sabha is popularly elected. Now, these people who are there, they have to answer the voters directly. So, in this sense, their communication with this public is pretty much means regular. It should be regular. Now, they have to go and ask for the votes also later on. So, in to make the citizen happy, or public happy, they may make a policy which may be popular with the public, but may not be good for the country. When I say popular with the public, it could be people may not be able to comprehend how a policy would affect them after 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, how it would impact India. So people may not be able to comprehend. A lot of time it happens, right? They say demonetization. A lot of people were happy that this happened, but the economic side of you would say that this is not supposed to be done. So there are many policies with immediate effect. It feels that, or at the very moment, it feels कि बहुत अच्छा है. But a lot of time it is felt that no, this is not good in long run. Likewise, there are many policies which are not seen as good in short term, but in long term that will help. A lot of time interest rates are increased. That's a policy matter, not a legislative matter in general. Policy matter hota hai when the interest rates are increased. So people would feel that why the interest rates are being increased. However, later on we find that it was required to keep the inflation low and this helps. So there are a lot of issues. Sometimes policy matter, sometimes legislative matter. In both the context, what can happen? Lok Sabha, being a popular chamber, may make a policy or may come up with a law which is uh, kind of good in short term, may be good in short term, not in long term or anything. So Rajya Sabha would restrict that bill because see Rajya Sabha is not trying to restrict the view of Lok Sabha. No, Rajya Sabha is trying to restrict what on things which may be detrimental. So Rajya Sabha better the policy because they don't have to answer. So they'll not answer to the public, right? So they'll not think from that when they go to the public what they'll answer. No, they don't have to look on those lines. So Rajya Sabha is supposed to discuss, debate, come up with new laws, introduce new bills. Many things Rajya Sabha is supposed to do. However, in reality, we find that Rajya Sabha has not been a successful debating chamber. नहीं है Rajya Sabha. In this context, we would have a big discussion. We would even have a discussion in terms of is Rajya Sabha even important? Should Rajya Sabha be there? Should Rajya Sabha be removed? Means should Rajya Sabha be abolished altogether? We would even have discussion up to that level. And we would see the points accordingly. And all that discussion would be from the mains perspective. In terms of other countries, when we look at the other countries and their Rajya Sabha, let's say Britain. In Britain, the composition of House of Lords is not democratic in any way. They, let's say, their Rajya Sabha House of Lords, right? So they used to have lordship, and they have peerage for life. They have hereditary peers. So in Rajya Sabha of England, that is the House of Lords, a person becomes member of Rajya Sabha, means their Rajya Sabha. So even their children would be member of Rajya Sabha. That is what I'm saying. They have peerage, hereditary peers they have got, hereditary peers. Earlier, the people who were the house, basically members of the House of Lords, were literally the heads of business organization. So they were lords. So rich. That's the reason term is House of Lord, House of Common, common man, and House of Lord. So rich, aristocracy, it was there. They also have peerage for life. Means once you become a member in India, how it is, house is permanent, but 6 years is the term for a member. Now, there they'll have it continuously till the time the person does not die. So overall, what happened? We keep on adding people to Rajya Sabha. Number keeps on increasing. As when number is increasing, later on the issue is that their number, as less number of the people, see, we don't want anyone to die, however less number of people, the number at which the numbers are being added and the number at which the people are dying is not sinking. So you will have that Rajya Sabha of England would have up to 800 members. They may even have 900 members. Our Rajya Sabha around 245. They're 800, 900. It's not fixed number. Unlike Indian Rajya Sabha, they don't have the numbers because hereditary life peers adding up more members. Now, for the past 20, 30 years, it has happened. They have stopped the hereditary life peers. Now, hereditary life peerage is not given. So, one thing is sorted out. Women are also given life peerage. So, women could also be member of House of Lords. Earlier, they were never member of the House of Lords. Now, even House of Common, let's say there are retired bureaucrats, or let's say somebody who served the country very well when they were there in the government, or a minister or House of Common member who would like to take leave from the active politics but would still like to be with the legislature. So they'll go in for House of Lords. So they'll become the member of the House of Lords. So the point is their membership is also changing, however it's not that democratic. Sorry. Now, in that sense, what we see that Rajya Sabha England would have bigger numbers. See, I would be taking the name multiple times, Rajya Sabha of England or Rajya Sabha of US. That is equal. I would be doing that for the reason being that this would be easier for you to comprehend. Sometimes when we say House of Lords, sometimes there's a confusion when people hear it for the first time that is it US, is it England, is it their Lok Sabha, is it their Rajya Sabha. With this, you'll have a better understanding, right? That's why I'm using these terms. When you're writing in your answer, you cannot use Rajya Sabha of England or Rajya Sabha of US, Rajya Sabha of Canada. Now, when we look at the, so there's difference between the composition of Britain and India Rajya Sabha. When we look at the American Senate, Indian Rajya Sabha, both are having similarities in some area. That is, it's a permanent house. Both are not, in both the contexts, it's not dissolving. Also, members are there on rotation and 6 years is the members of the tenure of the members. However, similarity ends here because in US, Rajya Sabha members are directly elected. In India, it is indirectly elected. And in US, every state sends equal number of people, that is 2 per state. In India, a state may send 1, a state may also send 30 also. So, we don't have equal representation. Similarly, like Canada, we follow Canadian type. In Canada also, different numbers are sent. However, in Canada, 75 is the retirement age. At the age of 75, people will retire. So, if somebody gets elected at the age of 50, So they'll serve for 25 years. So there is some similarity, there are also some differences. Australian Senate can actually be dissolved also. Literally, if they fight with Lok Sabha, means their Lok Sabha, Australian Rajya Sabha can be dissolved. So what do we see? We find that different countries' Rajya Sabha are having different rules, regulations, composition, size. Even we see Rajya Sabha getting dissolved also. So therefore, we say no two federal countries are alike, no two unitary countries are alike. Every country is there as per their own experiences, right? लिखिए आप break से whatever we had continued means we stopped that the RPA 1951 pay you don't need to be an elector in that constituency. Now in that state that provision has been removed. Now if you're an elector in India, you can be elected from any state, right? So give a gap of 1 to line, write down. So there's no heading, we're continuing from where we left. Write down. Rajya Sabha purpose has been envisaged, envisaged as a forum to which seasoned seasoned and experienced persons might get access without undergoing general election full stop. Continue. They would apply their mature judgment. And wisdom. To solve the problem of the country. Next line. Rajya Sabha protects values, aspirations, demands and interest of the state. Next line. It maintains federalism by curtailing tendencies like regionalism, separatism, etc. Separatism, etc. Next line. Rajya Sabha serves as a debating chamber and acts as a revising chamber over Lok Sabha which being a popular chamber being a popular chamber may at times be swayed, S-W-A-Y-E-D, be swayed, S-W-A-Y-E-D, be swayed to act hastily, H-A-S-T-I-L-Y, to act hastily under pressure of public opinion. Full stop, continue. It also helps in improving bills. It also helps in improving bills passed by Lok Sabha. Next line. In practice, Rajya Sabha does not act as champion of local interest. Full stop, continue. Even though elected by state legislatures, full stop, continue. The members of Rajya Sabha are not voting. The members of Rajya Sabha are not voting in the interest of the state concerned, but according to party affiliation. Full stop, continue. Their discussion is from national perspective. Rather than a local perspective. Write down another heading, Britain. Write down Britain. We are still talking about Rajya Sabha. I'll give you some understanding what we have done. Discuss in terms of Britain, US, Australia, Canada. We'll write that also. Okay? So that will help us in solving out many types of questions. Britain लिखिए. House of Lords, L-O-R-D-S. House of Lords composition is not, however, particularly rational. Full stop, continue. It consists mostly of hereditary peers, P-E-E-R-S, hereditary peers created by the crown on the advice of Council of Minister. Full stop, continue. It has been characterized as common fortress. F-O-R-T-R-E-S-S, common fortress of wealth. as most of its members as most of its members were either landlords or leaders of trade and industry trade and industry, comma, who inherit the peerage, P-E-E-R-A-G, who inherit the peerage and the right to sit in the house from their ancestors. Next line. Nowadays, peerage is also conferred for political and public service, on retired ministers and former members of House of Commons who wish to take leave, leave from active politics, but do not wish to snap, S-N-A-P, do not wish to snap their relationship with Parliament completely. Next line, write down. See, and don't get confused in terms of currently house of this hereditary right peers are not there. So this thing you need to have in mind. You want to write it, you can write it. Secondly, women are also given permanent hereditary regular full, that is for life they could be members. So ये दो चीज़ें ध्यान दीजिएगा ये, ठीक है. Next heading is US. Write down. Rajya Sabha resembles the American Senate. As it is also a continuing body, and it is based on the principle of rotation, of members. Okay, so member has 6-year tenure. You want to write it somewhere in the corner, you can write 6-year tenure. Okay, members, but it is a permanent chamber. Okay, full stop, continue. However, the members of the Senate are directly elected. Members of the Senate are directly elected, and there is equality of representation. ठीक है, equality of representation. Next line पे write down Australia. Write down Australian Senate can be dissolved. to resolve a deadlock, between two houses, full stop, continue. Members are directly elected. ठीक है. Next is Canada. Write on another heading as Canada. Write down. In Canadian Senate, the constituent units do not have uniform representation, and is not subject to dissolution. ठीक है. Now let's see any question. You've got sir. Sir, we can see nominated members were political background. Who is nominated like Rupa Ganguly? Well, people even having a political background does not mean they are not experts. So, just because somebody is active in politics, that does not mean they are not experts. So, these are two different things. So, a politician could also be an expert. So, there's nothing wrong in that. Constitutionally, legally, morally, there's nothing wrong in that. Next is, sir, after dismissal from Lok Sabha, can Rahul Gandhi can be sent to Parliament from Rajya Sabha? But it is, if you are convicted, you cannot be a member of Parliament. Parliament includes Rajya Sabha. You can't be a member of Lok Sabha. ऐसा नहीं है. ठीक है? I hope you got the point. Sir, is Lord Cornwallis, Lord Wolseley, all of Governor General Viceroy, British Royal members of the House of Lords? बेटा देखो लॉर्ड, अब ये आप बताएंगे. मीन्स यू नीड टू लुक एट इट. वर द हाउस ऑफ लॉर्ड्स. लॉर्डशिप is given as a title in terms of few people. However, does not mean that if somebody is given lordship, everybody would sit, or is it like that? Okay? That is but another domain of the history. You can look into that. Okay? But generally, yes, the House of Lords means the lords who are sitting there. House of Lords. Now, write down heading as Sessions of Parliament. Sessions of Parliament. I had explained to you the sessions of the Parliament at the time of the removal of the Supreme Court judge, because at that time we had read that they need to be the members. When I say, so I'm just going to tell you how we had done, or when we had done the removal proceedings of the judge. 124 clause 4 पे we've seen that the resolution should be sent, or the motion for the removal to be sent to the president in the same session that we had seen. This is there, article 124 clause 4 पे. At that time I had made you understand, but we did not write. I told you we'll do it in the parliament. So I would be going a bit faster because we had already done that. But I'll dictate you now this time. Okay? Now, we've got summon. I will explain you, but we are going to go a bit faster. And writing, we will write everything. Summon, we've got prorogation, we've got adjournment, we've got adjournment sine die, we've got dissolution. ठीक है? Now, whenever you see these terms, you should always be careful exactly who does it, who summons, who prorogue, who adjourns sine die, who dissolves it. You'll always memorize who is doing these things. At the same time, what impact does it create to the pending business? We will write that also. Now, summon, that is present, is summoning the session. Now, prorogation, that is ending of a session, that is also done by the president. Okay. So overall is we've got summon is by the president, prorogation president, dissolution president, adjournment speaker. एक दूसरा कलर कर लेते हैं अभी. Yes, speaker, adjournment sine die, speaker. Now we know summon means the session has been summoned. Prorogation, ending of a session. Adjournment means ending of a sitting. Adjournment sine die means ending of a sitting. There is a difference in both the sitting ends, but when the adjournment is happening, you know when you will be meeting again. So when you will be recalled, again mentioned. When you talk about adjournment sine die, then it is not mentioned when you will meet back again. You just say, you just end the sitting. That's it. You are going to meet back. Yes. When? Pata nahi. Here, at least you will know that. Jaise, on Friday, we did the class till 4 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock, we said that we'll meet on Monday in the morning, right? That's adjournment. However, if on Friday I would have said that whenever we are ending the class, but when to meet, pata nahi. So that is adjournment sine die. Okay? Both are done by speaker. Dissolution is ending of the means house, life of the house means you will have fresh election. So prorogation, dissolution would happen next year before the general election, means before you will have the new Lok Sabha, you will have the life of the last Lok Sabha would end. Like Lok Sabha ends in 5 years. Lok Sabha does not continue more than 5 years. Under normal circumstances, okay, Lok Sabha would automatically dissolve itself. Even if the president does not dissolve the house, Lok Sabha would end itself. Now, again, all these things could come in PT. Also, something more can be asked in PT. That is, you have the president, you have the Raj Sabha, you have the Lok Sabha. What happens to issues when house is dissolved? Maybe this could be a question. A bill introduced in Lok Sabha and the Lok Sabha gets dissolved, that bill lapses. A bill introduced in Lok Sabha passes from Lok Sabha, goes to Raj Sabha, Lok Sabha gets dissolved, the bill lapses. A bill introduced in Lok Sabha goes to Raj Sabha, goes back to Lok Sabha gets dissolved, lapses. A bill introduced in Raj Sabha goes to Lok Sabha gets dissolved, the bill would lapse. However, a bill enters Raj Sabha, goes to Lok Sabha, comes back to Raj Sabha, this also lapses. Easier understand. This I had all these things I had explained to you last time only, but then again in terms of crux, whenever Lok Sabha comes in picture, you dissolve the bill. Means you lapse the bill. Because you have taken their view and now these people are not there anymore, you will lapse the bill. However, if joint sitting has been said, let's say Lok Sabha se pass hua, Raj Sabha disagrees and joint sitting has been called, then it does not lapse. Here you do find Lok Sabha name comes, but it does not lapse, but that is specific to joint sitting. Another is passes from both and goes to the president. And it is with the president and the Lok Sabha is dissolved. Then also it does not lapse. In this case, president does not sign it, president waits for the new assembly, new house. Once the new house comes, then the president will ask, कि आप बताओ क्या करना है? Should I send it back to the reconsideration or should I hold it? So that happens. A bill introduced in Raj Sabha which is not been to Lok Sabha, yahi hai, it was introduced here, has not been to Lok Sabha, this bill does not lapse. So keep this thing in mind, very important. Almost every second year we find something, इनमें से कुछ ना कुछ क्वेश्चन मिलता ही मिलता है generally. ठीक है? Write down, heading is session of parliament. Session of parliament. First heading is summon. First heading is summon. Summon. So summon में लिखिए president. Write down president. Summons from time to time. Summon from time to time each house of parliament. Each house of parliament. Within the bracket write down maximum gap between two sessions. Maximum gap between two sessions cannot be more than 6 months. Cannot be more than 6 months. So this tells us what? That at least twice a year the sessions would be there. At least कम से कम दो होंगे. Right? Write down next line. Adjournment. Adjournment. Now you know it. It is done by the speaker. Right? So write down speaker. Write down. It terminates a sitting of the house. It terminates a sitting of the house. Sitting को underline कर लीजिए. Underline sitting. Next line. A house may adjourn for. A house may adjourn. 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 For such time. A house may adjourn for such time as it pleases. As it pleases. Next line. A house may also be adjourned. A house may also be adjourned sine die. A house may also adjourn sine die, that is without naming. That is without naming. Without naming को underline कर लो. Without naming a day for reassembly. Without naming a day for reassembly. Next line, star mark. An adjournment does not affect. An adjournment does not affect the incomplete work before the house. An adjournment does not affect the incomplete work before the house. ठीक है. अच्छा. Sir, bit slowly. The in context of slowly means what? This so we had already done. All these things we had done. However, as you have said, again I'll repeat it, but this is, we have already done it many times. Okay? In this context, things are pretty clear. We have not written it, we would write it. But here, try to understand one thing. When you take the view of Lok Sabha, bill lapse, matlab, house is dissolved, you will lapse the bill. Simple as that. Go blindly in this context. Lok Sabha name comes that they have seen the bill. If they have seen the bill, bill would lapse. However, if joint sitting has been called in, so here even Lok Sabha looks at it, does not matter. Joint sitting, if called, bill would not lapse, and it is passed from both houses, goes to president, it does not lapse. Other than that, you lapse it. Means a bill introduced in Rajya Sabha goes to Lok Sabha, this would also lapse because it has been to Lok Sabha. However, a bill introduced in Rajya Sabha has not been to Lok Sabha. It means it's here only. It has not come back. So this would not lapse. ठीक है? We have not written other things, but देखते हैं. Now, so please provide us the PDF of fundamental rights from which you taught us. But a PDF, so I believe PDF has been shared with you. This normal PDF, in general, the COI, Constitution of India, I use that only. I had highlighted certain areas, but that's again the constitution area. Now that also does not cover the whole PDF. Okay, means whole FR. So you'll find that I keep on juggling from here to this area. So the Constitution of India, that should be enough. The PDF which is already shared. Now then, in terms of questions, we would do many questions. You'll keep on getting many questions. What I'll do, I'll try to uh, change certain options also. I don't want the option to be so simple. Give us time. In a few days, maybe not till the time you are having your classes. Nahi. Let it also get over before exam. We'll be doing it. Okay? But you'll get it. If at all you don't get it, you let me know, because this would also help in your preparation later on. As of now, you will concentrate on those areas which we are doing in the class. Okay? Now we've got, there is, sir, this is with regard to question being asked in yesterday's test. Proportional representation is said to be a system where all sections get representation with respect to their numbers. But sir, isn't proportional representation system a system in which representation is based on number of votes a party gets and not their numbers? I'm confused. In proportional representation system, all sections of the people get representation in proportion to their numbers. पहला statement correct है बेटा ये. In India, the proportional representation system is in proportional representation system. एक मिनट इन ठीक है. In India, proportional representation system is dropped to election. ठीक है. तो बेटा कोई दिक्कत इसमें है नहीं. One only India. We've got basically all section gets a representation. क्यों? Why do we say it? I'm just answering a question which has been raised. Proportional representation पे a community, you've got X, Y, Z, A, B. So in proportional representation, what happens if they get 20% of vote? X 25, maybe 5, 20, 30. So how many MPs would they have? They would have as per their own numbers, right? However, in first past the post, they got 30, they will have all the numbers. This is where the issue is. All sections of the people get representation. That's how, see, in terms of first past the post system, these people would not have any representation because the person B got 30% of the votes. So all those people who gave vote to let's say this 30% of vote, all those people, 30% of the people voted for B, but B would represent everyone. So even those 70%, those who did not vote for B, even B is representing them. But when you have proportional representation, even B party would have 30% of seats. A party would have 20% of the seats. So don't worry. The meaning is same. What you are asking me, it means the same thing. ठीक है? Another thing is, sir, you said that the governor cannot pardon death sentence, but recently in newspaper Rajkumar case was quoted which said governor can pardon death sentence. बेटा, that is related to a case. दो अलग अलग इशू है. इसको आप थोड़ा सा और रीड करेंगे. There was an issue wherein the death penalty of the person was being, अगर आप देखेंगे इसमें है ना, even the Rajiv Gandhi, killing of Rajiv Gandhi वाला जो था कॉन्टेक्स्ट, उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में भी ये इशू आया हुआ था. सो द इशू इज दैट द पीपल वर arrested on the charges of murder, and then it was said that death penalty was given. However, later on it was commuted to life. थोड़ा सा इस केस को और देख सकते हो. In general, for the exam, we do have these issues coming up. But if the Council of Ministers, or if the issue, the person of the death penalty has been converted into life, then we do find the governors are going into this. Now, this issue is there since the last 1 year. एक साल से ज़्यादा ये इशू उठ रहा है. डोंट वरी, गो अ बिट डीपर इनसाइड द केस एंड यू विल गेट द आंसर. इसमें वरी नहीं करना है बेटा. ठीक है. और क्या है इशू? Later on you can text me directly and we can go much deeper inside it. ठीक है. लिखिए बेटा, नेक्स्ट हेडिंग लिखिए. So we've seen adjournment, right? So adjournment does not affect the pending business. So don't think that anything would end with the adjournment. Nothing ends. Next is prorogation. Next is prorogation. Write down. It puts an end to a session. It puts an end to a session. Underline कर लो, end to a session. It puts an end to a session of the House. It puts an end to a session of the House, but not its existence. But not its existence. Underline that, not its existence. And the same House meets again, and the same House meets again after prorogation, and the same House meets again after prorogation. See, I have told you prorogation is by the President. So after prorogation, maybe at the heading you can in the bracket write down President. Next line. A bill or any other business, a bill or any other business, comma, whether pending in the House, or pending the assent of the President, does not lapse. Underline, does not lapse by the prorogation. Next line, star mark. Contempt of House committed in one session. Contempt of House committed in one session can be punished by it in another session. Next line, star mark. Pending notices lapses. इसको ध्यान रखिएगा. Pending notices, जो notice होता है which is pending, that would lapse. What are pending notices? Before you introduce a bill, or before you go in for any context that you want the House to look into, you will introduce a notice that this is what I want to introduce. If the House accepts that notice, in terms of the notice is accepted, then yes. If the notice is pending, it would lapse. It means again in the session when it will be convened, you will issue notice again. But if it is pending, ठीक है? Next is dissolution. Again, you know it. It is done by the President. Write down. It puts an end to the life of the House. Next line. Lok Sabha after 5 years automatically dissolve itself. Lok Sabha after 5 years automatically dissolves itself. Next line. ठीक है, so again repeating the last statement, Lok Sabha after 5 years automatically dissolves itself. Next line, life of new house will start from the day will start from the date of its first meeting. ठीक है, now when I've said that Lok Sabha automatically dissolves itself, don't think that it cannot continue after 5 years. During emergency there is a special provision, इसके आगे चल सकते हैं. ठीक है, we at the time of emergency I had even explained to you article 358 and 359 also. So what happens to FRs during that time? So make sure that you have it in your mind that don't think that during emergency what happens to FR that is not discussed during the emergency. We have discussed 358 and 359 also. Now write down another subheading. एक subheading लिखिए, effects of dissolution. Effects of dissolution. Effects of dissolution on the business pending in the house, point पे लिखेंगे, write down point पे. A bill pending in Rajya Sabha which has not been passed by Lok Sabha does not lapse. ठीक है, next line, a bill pending in Lok Sabha lapses. A bill pending in Lok Sabha lapses. Next line, a bill passed by Lok Sabha but pending in Rajya Sabha lapses, comma, but would not lapse if in respect of it a joint session of the two house joint session को underline कर लो, joint session of the two house has already been called by the president. Next line, a bill passed by both houses. But pending assent of president does not lapse. Underline does not lapse with the dissolution of Lok Sabha. Next line, star mark. Dissolution does not wipe out. Wipe, WIPE, wipe out contempt proceedings in the house, contempt proceedings in the house. Now, we've seen all these things are there, very important in terms of PT. So keep in mind, okay, what happens to the bills, what happens to notices, when it is not lapsing, all these things. But I have told you the crux itself, Lok Sabha comes into the picture, you will lapse the bill. Okay? However, if joint sitting is there or if it's with the president, then it will not lapse. Otherwise, तो lapse हो जाएगा. Now, we've got, see, it's difficult to run a government for 5 years. Now, when I say it's difficult, I'm talking about a coalition government. A pure government is comparatively easy. Comparatively, it's pretty easy because the others cannot basically make your government fall. You will have the confidence of the house, you will have the majority. In coalition, what happens, political parties, different political parties would have different ideologies, different leaders. In same political party, you have important leaders. However, they have similar ideologies. But when you have different political parties, different ideologies are coming together. So you would have fight, friction between who will hold the power and the other things. It was difficult. We've seen that the government could not continue for many, let's say, I'll tell you, even let's say, if we look into the post late 60s, in terms of the Congress government broke up. See, this information I'm giving you not to be written. I'll make you write also some information, but don't think you will write it like that in your answer. This is to make you understand that during 60s, during 80s, what was happening in the country. Now, during late 80s, late 60s, we saw that the Congress broke up. Congress party actually broke up, so the government could not continue. They could not continue, so they had to resign before 1 year before their full term. Post emergency, the Congress was routed out because it was responsible for emergency, and we have the Morarji Desai government came in, but it was a coalition government, and we also had Chaudhry Charan Singh also as a great leader in terms of this coalition. So Chaudhry Charan Singh took out support from Morarji Desai, and the Morarji Desai government fell, and Chaudhry Charan Singh became the Prime Minister. However, he also could not continue because he also did not have the majority. So what did we see? We saw 3 clear examples of the government not able to continue for 5 years. Not only this, we see later on VP Singh government, Chandrasekhar government, they could not continue. We even saw I.K. Gujral, Indra Kumar Gujral, he also could not continue. So many times, particularly 90s was pretty difficult. In 1960s, 1996 to 1998, we've had 3 prime ministers. We have had Atal Bihari Vajpayee, we've had the Gujral Saab, we've had the Devi Gowda. So we've had 3 prime ministers also in 3 years. Okay? So what you do, you write it down, whatever I have told you, that will help you in even answering other domain also, because you will know background में what was happening. Whatever you have written till now, give a gap of 1 2 line and then write down post late 1960s, Lok Sabha witnessed several premature dissolutions. Lok Sabha witnessed several premature dissolution as no political party was able to secure a stable majority, Next line. In 1969, in 1969, Congress party broke up. In 1969, Congress party broke up. Therefore, government lost its majority. Therefore, government lost its majority, and the house was dissolved. And the house was dissolved more than a year before. More than a year before its full term. Before its full term. Next line. Next line. Morarji Desai became the Morarji Desai resigned in 1979. Resigned in 1979, and then Charan Singh Charan Singh became the Prime Minister. However, he also resigned. In the same year. He also resigned in the same year. See, you understand that 77 emergency goes out. You have 79 pay. You have after 2 years, you have the Prime Minister, but then 72 years may he has to go out. Another Prime Minister again he has to go out. Right? Next line. In 1990, VP Singh government was defeated. VP Singh government was defeated on the confidence motion. On a confidence motion. In the same year, Chandrasekhar became the Prime Minister. In the same year, Chandrasekhar became the Prime Minister. But after a few months, he resigned as lost majority. Next line. In 1996, no party emerged. In 1996, no party emerged in majority. No party emerged in majority in Lok Sabha. Full stop. Continue. In 1997, House was dissolved. As Prime Minister Gujral lost his majority, and as Prime Minister Gujral lost his majority. Next line. In this case, the President Narayanan did not accept the advice of Prime Minister straightway straightway, and explored the possibility of installing an alternative government and dissolve the house only when he realized that there was no such only when he realized that there was no such possibility. ठीक है? So I've told you 1996 to 1998 we've had 3 prime ministers in 2 years, right? I've told you we've had Atal Bihari Vajpayee Saab, we've got Gujral Saab, we've got Devi Gowda Saab. So 3 prime ministers. Also, what we have written in last para, in terms of Narayan Saab, if you notice at the time of judicial activism, we clearly saw that this particular domain, that is presidential activism, was there in 90s. As presidential activism was there in 90s, you will find that the 90s president were very active, and at the time of discretion of the president or discretionary power of the president, we've seen that if the government loses majority, then the president is not bound to listen to the aid and advice of council of minister. So when IQ Ujral Saab asked the president to dissolve the house, he did not directly listen to the advice of the uh, prime minister. Then he actually looked at all the other possibilities. However, he could not find anyone who could form the government. So finally, he dissolved the house. So use this last statement or whatever we had written in context of Narayan Saab for presidential activism. That's very important. Yeah, so this we had written the statement but not the example. So look at the presidential activism and look at the President Narayan Saab, and this is what the example, a real example is. Okay? Now, uh, sir, is suspension of member and punishment for contempt of house is different, because I have read that a member cannot be suspended for maximum period of the remaining of the session. But how can we say that contempt house committed in one session can be punished in next session? Please clarify. Beta, ye na, first of all, we have to look at this in context of the contempt of the house. So the question what you are framing, or what you have told me, that is in context of the contempt. Now, if we don't look into the contempt, or we don't know the contempt of the house, or what the parliamentary privileges are, Article 105, that this question is actually be answered at the time of discussion of Article 105. So the discussion should come by maybe tomorrow evening or day after. You will have, because we have to have the understanding of the what is contempt of the house. It's similar to the judicial aspect. However, we have to discuss at that time. Take it, beta. So we'll discuss most probably tomorrow, second half, or day after tomorrow. It should be coming. Take care. Now, uh, we are through with the issues in terms of the Rajya Sabha, which we wanted to know. We've seen the sessions also of the parliament. We've seen the stories also in terms of coalition and when the government could not be formed with majority. We've seen 1996 when nobody could form the government. So you will check post the class, did we have another election in 1997 or not? Or 1996 nobody formed the government, so we formed another election was also done within a year or so. ये check कीजिएगा. Now, in terms of the exam, we have to have an understanding of the speaker. We have to. So we have to see exactly the speaker, the deputy speaker, the uh, chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Chairperson of Rajya Sabha we have already seen actually at the time of vice president. However, there is 1-2 point we also should know about the chairperson of Rajya Sabha now, and deputy chairperson. So I am going to explain you 4 things together. Okay? We try to understand Speaker, deputy speaker, chairperson, deputy chairperson. Then we'll write everything. Now, this is in context of removal. Okay, appointment, so we had already seen many times. I told you that the Lok Speaker is elected by the House amongst its members. The House would elect a speaker. There is no oath. We have seen the chairperson of Rajya Sabha is the vice president, right? So not going into that domain. However, in terms of removal, we find that speaker when presiding is not having voting power. Okay? However, and voting, when I say I'm clear in terms, or I'm specifying in terms of only in case of, or in terms of first instance. Matlab you do voting. Speaker is also an MP, right? Can he vote in the first instance? No. He can only vote in case of a tie. If there is a tie, then he is presiding. Let's say 50-50 votes has come, now he can vote. But if 40-60 or if some other vote numbers are there, he will not even touch the voting part because it doesn't make any sense. So he is supposed to be neutral when he's sitting there. But if there is a tie, he can, yes, give a tiebreaker vote. Now, when the removal proceeding of speaker has been initiated, then speaker cannot sit in the house as a speaker. Don't think cannot sit in the house as a member. He can sit in the house as a member. Now, and all these things, this would come in question in PT. So when the removal proceeding is initiated against the speaker, he cannot sit in the house as a speaker. However, he can sit in the house as a member. He can take part in the proceedings of the house. So don't think that he cannot take part in the proceedings of the house. He can take part in the proceeding of the house. Now comes an issue. Can he vote? Because when he is sitting as a speaker, he cannot vote in the first instance. Here the question is, can he vote in the first instance? And the answer is yes. He can vote in the first instance because speaker is not being removed as a member of parliament. Speaker is removed as a speaker is. So the point is, he would have all the powers of an MP. Okay? Speaker, even after the house is dissolved, continues to be the speaker. You can't have a house without a head. So speaker does not resign. Even post the dissolution of the house, speaker continues and resigns immediately before the first meeting of the house. जैसे house convene होगा थोड़ी देर पहले he would or she would resign. All these things are there for PT. Say, ठीक है? Now, when we look at the chairperson or deputy chairperson of Rajya Sabha, so there is a twist in terms of removal. We know that chairperson of Rajya Sabha is not removed as chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Chairperson is removed as a vice president. If he is removed as a vice president, chairperson is also removed. Right? This we had discussed at the time of the executives. Now, can chairperson vote in case of tie? Means when chairperson is sitting as a chairperson, cannot give a casting vote. Sorry, cannot vote in the first instance. However, can he give casting vote? And the answer is yes. The person can actually give a casting vote, but not vote in the first instance. So, वापस से maybe I might have said it differently. Again, repeating it. First instance where like speaker, the chairperson cannot vote. Both can give casting vote when presiding. Now, is the difference. When the removal proceeding of vice president is initiated, basically chairperson of Rajya Sabha is initiated. Now the point is, can he sit in the house? And the answer is yes, he can sit in the house. Next is, can he take part in proceedings of the house? And the answer is yes, he can take part in the proceedings of the house. Can he vote? And the answer is no, because he is not a member. However, in case of speaker, we saw that he can vote because he's sitting as a normal MP, he can vote in the first instance, right? So there's a difference. But you remove the deputy chairperson of Rajya Sabha, he cannot sit as a deputy chairperson when removal proceeding is initiated. He can sit in the house, take part in the proceeding, and also can vote in the first instance because again he is a member. I hope you got the point in terms of where the chairperson is different in terms of the behavior voting के लिए starting में फर्क है, but when presiding he is not able to vote in the first instance but casting vote देंगे. Speaker also is not able to vote in the first instance when sitting as speaker. When being removed at that moment can yes vote at the first instance. ठीक है, ये पूरा पीटी का डोमेन है. Also post the class you will look into the domain particularly, and I am very specific to the domain, that is you will mug up the names of the first speaker, deputy speaker. ठीक है, देखिए they were known as president and vice president, they were not elected. So you will find Frederick White and Sachidanand Sinha. You will have a lot of representation from West Bengal. It's been doing so well in history. In present, we want more leaders from West Bengal. We want more civil servants. We want more, means we want West Bengal, we want in terms of the context, we want the whole country to grow. We want all the states, all the districts to do well. However, as this program is very specific to the West Bengal thing, why? Because the kind of presence this region had in the history in terms of the great personalities, we don't have it at the current moment. In terms of first from this side, first you've got n number of India's first are from West Bengal. तो अभी क्या है, ज़रूरी है बेटा वो, ठीक है? And we are there to help you out in this journey. Now, you will study about the in fact it is given Frederick White, Sachidanand Sinha. एक तो ये रट लोगे आप. No need to write as of now. It is given in the text. You will just underline it and mug it up. Very important. The first, so they'll be known as the president and the vice president. And they were not elected. So later on in 1925, we will find that Vittal Bhai Patel was the first Indian and first elected speaker. So these names you should always know. ये रटने हैं आपको, ठीक है? लिखिए बेटा, हेडिंग इज स्पीकर, ठीक है? लिखिए स्पीकर ऑब्लिक डेप्यूटी स्पीकर, राइट डाउन स्पीकर ऑब्लिक डेप्यूटी स्पीकर, ठीक है? सो वी आर नॉट राइटिंग बेसिक टर्मिनोलॉजी दैट ही प्रिसाइड्स द हाउस, वी आर नॉट राइटिंग बेसिक एस्पेक्ट, ठीक है? जो बेसिक है उसके ऊपर जा रहे हैं. राइट डाउन दे बोथ आर चोजन. So we're talking in context of both. So they both are chosen amongst the house. They both are chosen by the house. They both are chosen by the house itself. By the house itself, amongst its members. Amongst its members. Next line, if the speaker and deputy speakers, again, see this also I had told you long time back, you will always be careful about vacant, about absent. If the term speaker, deputy speaker, both office are absent, you will have panel. If both offices are vacant, you will have the president would nominate a person. Likewise, sorry. Now, in terms of the vice president, mean chairperson, deputy chairperson, both are absent. Panel, both seats are vacant. You will have the president would nominate. तो दोनों में फर्क है. Be careful. Absent nomination, absent vacancy. ठीक है? Be careful. Write down next line पे. If the speaker and deputy speakers, if the speaker and deputy speaker office is vacant, office is vacant, vacant को underline कर लो, underline vacant, then the speakers, then the speaker apostrophe s, then the speaker's duties are to be performed, then the speaker's duties are to be performed by such member of the house, by such members of the house as the president, underline kar lo president, as the president may appoint, as the president may appoint for the purpose, as the President may appoint for the purpose. Within the bracket, write down election to fill the vacancy as soon as possible. Election to fill the vacant post as soon as possible. Election to fill the vacant post as soon as possible. Underline kar lo ye as soon as possible. Now this is very much specific, that if they both are vacant, if both the offices are vacant, this is what the condition is. Okay? Next line, write down the next line. Date of election of speaker is fixed by President. Date of election of speaker is fixed by President. Next line. Under the rules of Lok Sabha, the speaker nominates from amongst the member a panel of not more than 10 chairpersons, full stop, continue. Any of them can preside over the house. In the absence of speaker or deputy speaker. Next line. When a member of the panel is also not present, any other person as determined by the house acts as the speaker. Next line. Speaker / deputy speaker remains in office so long as they are members of Lok Sabha, full stop, continue. When Lok Sabha is dissolved, the speaker does not vacate. Underline kar lo. Does not vacate. The speaker does not vacate his office until immediately before the first meeting of the house. Next line. Any one of them may be removed from his office by a resolution passed by a majority of all the then members all the then members. All the then members means effective majority. You want to write in the bracket, you can write effective majority. Effective majority. So all the then members, that is effective majority, bracket close, of the house. Next line, in the bracket, write down. Speaker or deputy speaker may resign, in the bracket, write down next line pe. Speaker or deputy speaker may resign his office, by writing to each other, by writing to each other. Next line, bracket close, next line. Such a resolution means removal resolution we are trying with the bracket के ऊपर what we have written, it is continuation of that. Such a resolution can be moved only after 14 days notice. Only after 14 days notice has been given of the intention. 14 days को underline कर लो. 14 days notice has been given of the intention to move it. Next line. When such a resolution is under consideration, against the speaker, comma, he does not preside at the sittings. He does not preside, P-R-E-S-I-D, preside at the sittings, though he may be present, and participate in the proceedings, of the house, full stop, continue. Can even vote in the first instance, here. It means when the removal proceeding of the speaker is under consideration, then he can vote in the first instance because he is not sitting as the speaker. However, when he is sitting as a speaker, he cannot vote in the first instance. Okay? So don't make this error. Within the bracket, write down same for deputy speaker. Next line. Next line is speaker decides whether a bill is a money bill. Next line. He is the final interpreter. Of the Constitution. He is the final interpreter of the Constitution in the House. So don't make a mistake. He is not final interpreter of the Constitution in general. Within the House, all rules, regulation, procedure, what it means, that is the speaker is the final interpreter. Likewise, he is the final interpreter of the Constitution in the House. वैसे final interpreter is the Supreme Court. ठीक है? But in context of the House, he is the final one. ठीक है? Next line. He does not vote in the first instance, he does not vote in the first instance, but can give a casting vote, in case of tie, in case of tie, TIE. Next line, presides over joint sitting. Next line is presides over joint sitting. Next line, decides the question of disqualification of members. Decide the question of disqualification of members on ground of defection. On ground of defection. So don't think that in disqualification is decided by speaker in all cases. It's only in context of defection. Be careful in this context. Okay? Next line. His rank is higher than all ministers. His rank is higher than all ministers except Prime Minister oblique Deputy Prime Minister, except Prime Minister oblique Deputy Prime Minister. Next line. Date of election of Deputy Speaker. Date of election of Deputy Speaker is fixed by the Speaker. Date of election of Deputy Speaker is fixed by the Speaker. देखिए, now in this statement, why this statement is important? Because we don't have a deputy speaker and the speaker was asked, why don't we have a deputy speaker? So the speaker, not the current, the last speaker had said that it is the house which would decide when to appoint the speaker and not the speaker, but that was wrong. It is the speaker who will decide the date. So therefore, if you find that a statement has been said by the speaker that the house decides, that is a wrong statement. It is the speaker decides the date. Okay? Next line, star mark. Speaker and deputy speaker do not take any separate oath. Do not take any separate oath of office. Do not take any separate oath of office. Next line, star mark. Till 10th Lok Sabha, Speaker and Deputy Speaker were usually from the ruling party, full stop, continue. Since 11th Lok Sabha, because of consensus, post of deputy speaker goes to the main opposition party. Goes to the main opposition party. Okay? So what is the basic understanding in the statement? What we have written is, pehla, that is earlier it was usually. You will notice we have written usually. So it does not happen before 10th Lok Sabha. It was invariably going to the party in power. No. it usually, there could be a case where somebody else may also be there as a speaker. However, as per consensus, so again, this is consensus. Don't think this is a law in terms of it's written in the constitution that Lok Sabha speaker would be from ruling and the deputy would be from the opposition. No, ये कहीं लिखा नहीं है. This is what consensus, basically as per consensus. Convention, if it is used as per convention, you will still accept it. But this is not as per laws. ठीक है? Give a gap of 1 2 line and then write down speaker pro tem. Write down speaker pro tem. Write down president appoints. President appoints. Within the bracket write down gives oath also of MP. Gives oath also of MP. So don't think pro tem speaker has an oath of pro tem speaker. No, it's the oath is of member of parliament only. Bracket close. Next line. It is a temporary office. It is a temporary office. Next line. He administers oath to new members. Next line is he administers oath. He administers oath to the new members. He administers oath to the new members. Next line पे bracket में लिखिए. Write down the bracket. Every MP has to subscribe oath. Every MP has to subscribe oath before the president or some person appointed by him or some person appointed by him. So be very careful. It is the president who is supposed to give the oath, but president appoints pro tem speaker. Pro tem speaker is giving oath to the MP. It's not that the constitution says that MPs would be given oath by pro tem speaker. No. It is the president. ठीक है? Write down another heading. Chairperson oblique deputy chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Next is chairperson oblique deputy chairperson of Rajya Sabha. ठीक है? Write down. Next line पे लिखिए. House elects a deputy chairperson. House elects deputy chairperson from amongst its member. Okay, so main heading is chairperson oblique deputy chairperson, but we already have a lot of information related to chairperson because we have seen the vice president. So we would write about chairperson something, but not the main thing because we have discussed the vice president. Okay, so write down House elects deputy chairperson from amongst its members. Underline कर लो amongst its members. It means the deputy chairperson should be a member of Rajya Sabha. On the contrary, chairperson of Rajya Sabha should not be a member of Rajya Sabha. Right? Next line. Write down. He may resign to chairperson. He may resign to chairperson. Next line. Deputy chairperson may be removed. Deputy chairperson may be removed by majority of all the then members. By majority of all the then members. ठीक है? ब्रैकेट में लिखिए 14 days. all the then members. 14 days means you will have to give 14 days notice. Okay, 14 days notice. Next line. If both the offices are vacant, both the offices matlab chairperson and deputy chairperson. If both the offices are vacant, then president appoints a person. Then president appoints a person. Next line. Write down, chairperson is not a member. Chairperson is not a member of the house. Underline kar lo. Not a member. Not a member of the house. Full stop. Continue. Cannot vote in the first instance. Cannot vote in the first instance, but can give casting vote. But can give casting vote. Casting vote. Bracket में लिख सकते हो in case of a tie or equality of votes. In the bracket you can write down equality of votes, yeah, in case of tie. Next line. While being removed, he cannot vote in the first instance. While being removed, he cannot vote in the first instance. He cannot vote in the first instance also, though he can sit and take part, though he can sit and take part, he can sit and take part in its proceedings. He can sit and take part in its proceedings. Next line, star mark. Deputy chairperson has right to vote. Deputy chairperson has right to vote. Has right to vote in first instance. Has right to vote in first instance when removal proceeding is initiated. When removal proceeding is initiated. ठीक है? And you have see, और एक quorum जो होता है in general, what do you we have? QUORUM. Quorum is the minimum number of people who needs to be there to start a meeting of the let's say the house. So quorum we've seen, we already know in India it's 1/10. ठीक है? So if 100 members are there, 10 members are present, then you can have the meeting. So quorum is there 1/10. ठीक है? ये basic factual information है. So again summarizing in terms of speaker, deputy speaker. Speaker, deputy speaker, both are the members of the house. Chairperson, deputy chairperson, on the contrary, chairperson is not a member of the house, but deputy chairperson is a member of the house. अगर आप इनको let's say let me add up chairperson or let me remove chairperson, and the other three would follow the same pattern. Speaker, deputy chairperson of Rajya Sabha, all three would follow the same pattern. They need to be member of the house. They can preside the meeting. When they are presiding the meeting, they don't vote in the first instance, but they all can vote in the case of tie. When removal proceeding is initiated, then they can vote in the first instance. They can sit in the house, they can take part in the proceeding of the house, they can vote in the first instance. Chairman of Rajya Sabha, ये अलग से अकेले इंसान आ जाएंगे, क्यों? He is not a member, but can vote in case of a tie, not in terms of first instance. Can give a casting vote, but not in case of, means in case of tie can give, but not in first instance. When he sits in the house, let's say while removal proceeding is initiated, you don't remove the chairperson. Removal proceeding is against the vice president. Then also he can sit in the house. He can take part in the proceedings of the house. Don't think he is taking part in terms of removal. of anything, sorry, passing of bill, at that time the House is discussing only the removal. So he can take part in the proceedings. He can be represented by an advocate also there. Means a person could be anyone that will come, who will speak to the House regarding that I have not done anything wrong, though there are no grounds for the removal of vice president. However, main is a person can represent him there also. He can bring somebody, because the vice president may not be a good speaker. Speaker means not the Lok Sabha speaker, but the person who speaks. So we may have another person also with the vice president. So when the removal proceeding of the chairperson of Rajya Sabha is under consideration, he can sit in the House, take part in the proceeding of the House. However, he cannot vote in the first instance also. Neither casting vote nor first instance, because he is not a member. So always keep this thing in mind. And when you have a joint sitting, so you have speaker. If speaker is not there, then you have deputy speaker. If deputy speaker is not there, then deputy chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Chairperson is not there, he is not a member. Take care. So always be careful regarding the membership. Who is a member, who is not a member. Always be careful in terms of oath, who is taking oath, who is not taking oath. Always be careful in terms of what is the removal proceeding. You find that effective majority is looked into. Speaker effective majority, deputy effective majority, deputy speaker effective majority, deputy chairperson of, sorry, and chairperson of Rajya Sabha के लिए it is effective majority from Rajya Sabha but simple majority from Lok Sabha. So removing the deputy speaker, you only require Lok Sabha permission. You want to remove speaker, only Lok Sabha. You want to remove deputy chairperson of Rajya Sabha, only Rajya Sabha permission. But you want to remove chairperson, you require effective from Rajya Sabha and simple from Lok Sabha. Okay. Now, question is, we got, sir, is speaker re-elected? If re-elected, then he would become a MP and he must contest. How a speaker can contest? ठीक है बेटा देखो, in terms of speaker behavior is not neutral. He does not perform neutrally. Speaker can actually resign also from the political party once he becomes a speaker to show he is a neutral person. However, speaker is not behaving neutrally. In England, speaker behaves neutrally. Now, why there is a difference? Basically, they say, imagine a place. They say, imagine that from Indore, speaker or the Indore MP has become speaker, or maybe Calcutta MP has become speaker. Now, person starts behaving neutrally. So the party would not give him ticket after 5 years. They'll say that though they can remove him with effective majority, but imagine that they are not able to get effective majority. Okay? So they may not be able to remove the speaker. So either they'll say you resign. Speaker, if listening to the party, would resign. However, may say that no, I'll not even resign also and I'll work neutrally. So after 5 years, nobody is going to, and that political party is not going to give him ticket. All parties want that favoritism, some area, means you have come here and you're not even helping us, why would we give you ticket? So party would not give him ticket, so political career is over. In England, the behavior of the speaker is neutral because they have a concept, once a speaker, always a speaker. So the point, it's not that, basically let me also explain you once a speaker, always a speaker concept. If a person becomes a speaker and behaves neutrally, genuinely neutrally, then after 5 years when the election would happen, then from the constituency where the speaker was, no other political party would send their candidate. Let's try to understand the concept in India. Imagine that India is England and one of the constituencies is Calcutta, and from Calcutta the person has become speaker. In England I am talking about. Now after 5 years when the election is happening, so from Calcutta no political party would send their representative. Contest hoga hi nahi. No one would send their person. So you will have only one person to contest from Calcutta. So he would win unopposed. So if a person wants to continue or wants to go ahead in the political career, that I want to remain as a speaker, I will be neutral, I will behave neutrally, then person would behave like this, because party not concerned, neutrality is the main criteria. Other political party as a respect would also not send their representative. However, we've seen speaker in England also sometimes does not behave neutrally. When the speaker does not behave neutrally, then the other political party do send their candidate. Then there is a possibility that the person may lose also. I hope you got the point. So you want political career to continue as speaker, be neutral. In England, I'm talking about. In India, a person remains neutral, political career is over. It's out. Now, now I hope you got the point, beta. Next is how motion resolution bills different from one another. Beta, motion is introduced. Once it is passed, it is a resolution. So introduction is motion, passing is resolution. So resolution are by default passed motion. All motion are not resolution, because all motions may not pass. But all resolutions are motion because they were induced as motion. So clear cut motion resolution, no issue. Likewise, bills are introduced. When it passes, it becomes acts. So all bills are not acts because all bills may not pass. However, all acts were bills. Earlier they were bills. So it's in terms of bills, motions and acts. Okay? And resolution. Now you know about it. Okay? So you've got, so House is looking into that. Now, if at all there is a confusion that who conducts the election, then check if the election commission is conducting it or not, because election commission conducts the elections of the MLAs, the MPs, the president, the vice president. Now, check if the election commission is coming into the election of speaker or deputy speaker, or the house is conducting, and the houses are having their own secretariat. House have their own system. Neither Lok Sabha is superior to Rajya Sabha, nor Rajya Sabha is superior to Lok Sabha. Neither Lok Sabha gives any dictate to Rajya Sabha and vice versa. It does not happen. So you will find out. That is what I was supposed to tell you before you raise the question. Okay? So you will see who conducts the election. Okay? Now, we would be going ahead in terms of the mains discussion tomorrow, in terms of the House, the deliberative, the legislative role. You will keep on studying. आप पढ़ते रहेंगे बेटा पढ़ते रहेंगे. Next 3 days, we should be able to complete the topic of Parliament, as well as on the last day. See, PRI does not take much time. Panchayati Raj institution is hardly an hour's time, because it's an important area, but discussion wise it's less. We'll see that also. Okay? So we'll catch up tomorrow. Okay? So thank you. All the best.